Okay, let's talk about Alex Smith weighing in on the Tyreek Hill trade and Chiefs future, the Chiefs' underrated right tackle need, the Colts owner calling the Wentz era a mistake, Bruce Arians announcing his retirement from coaching, and much more. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, and I do daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL overall, so make sure to sub if you're new around here, hit that like button, check the description for timestamps if you want to skip around to something in particular, and let's get into the news. First off, the Chiefs recently hosted James Houston, one of the most dominant defenders in HBCU football, on a top 30 visit. These visits serve as an opportunity for prospects to tour team facilities, meet with position coaches, front office executives, scouts, and members of the training staff. It's essentially a way for NFL teams to fill in some blank spaces in their scouting reports and get to know how a player will fit within their culture. He was at the University of Florida as a linebacker, mostly playing as a reservist and special teamer with some action on the field. Then he transferred to Jackson State to play under Hall of Famer Deion Sanders in 2021, and in his lone season at Jackson State that season, he played with his hand in the dirt as a pass rusher and really excelled. He appeared in 13 games with the Tigers, notching 52 total tackles, 24.5 tackles for loss, 16.5 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, and 7 forced fumbles. Wow. What a monster, man. And then the Chiefs' new wide receiver addition, potential roster maker, and 2016 first-round pick Corey Coleman was seen working with renowned private receiver coach David Robinson. Robinson has worked with the best of the best over the years and also has been working with Robinson himself for years. And this little clip you're watching right now shows him looking hungry to earn a starting spot on the KC roster. My question to you all is, do you think he will earn a starting spot? I'd be curious to know your thoughts. And just last night, Alex Smith weighed in on the Tyreek Hill trade on the Rich Eisen show. Smith sees his absence as a trade-off. The team is sacrificing being so dynamic on offense to perhaps make some moves that will make the team more well-rounded on both sides of the football.
I think they look back to, a few years ago is maybe they're going to be a little more balanced offense and defense. And then I also think this has kind of been Andy's MO his entire coaching career, is that rather than let you play out your contract and walk away for nothing, I mean, he's certainly going to try and get value for you while he can.
And yeah, we've seen him do that with Alex Smith himself. The year before he was traded, he had amazing numbers, over 4,000 passing yards, 26 TDs, and only 5 interceptions. And then when he was at his highest, was traded to the Commanders, and we know how the story goes from there. But Alex Smith goes on to say this.
But I think the big question is, maybe as a team, can they be better from it, right? That cap space, can they go get some other players maybe on the defensive side of the ball with those draft picks? Can they get some role players come in and help them this next year? I think that's the equation they're trying to make.
And then Andy Reid recently spoke about Ronald Jones for the first time publicly since his signing. This is what he had to say. I like Ronald Jones. I like the size, speed that he has. He's a tough runner. He has good vision. I'll take that. He needs that opportunity to feel like he's a major part of this thing, and we'll give him that. I've got Clyde in there too, so it'll just help take some pressure off of Clyde, and they'll work together and be a pretty good combo. So it's interesting to me that he used the word major here. He literally said, we'll give him that, making him feel like he's a major part of this thing, and mentions taking pressure off of Clyde. Could this mean that Jones will possibly be the early down back while CEH plays a more limited third down role as a pass catch and pass blocker? Time will certainly tell there. Make sure to let me know your thoughts down below. And still, no new cornerback news as of when I recorded this video this morning, but the Chiefs are still reportedly actively discussing a trade for cornerback James Bradberry. They are, quote, extremely interested. Kansas City would likely try to sign Bradberry to a long-term contract extension if they acquire him, a league source predicted, but we haven't heard anything yet. Still in the process thus far. I think with all the draft picks that Veach has, he's not going to be overzealous. We know how they value cornerbacks over the years, paid very little for them, so he'll probably think he can recoup in the draft, but I do think we need a veteran cornerback for sure. And then Jacob Millam of Arrowhead Addict recently posted an article that I found worth touching on about Lucas Niang and our right tackle position. A 2020 third-round selection, Niang opted out of the 2020 season due to the COVID-19 pandemic. He did not see his first snaps for KC until the 2021 season. After a full offseason and injury to veteran Mike Rimmers, Niang was the Chiefs' Week 1 starter against the Cleveland Browns. He started the first 5 games of 2021, then started battling a hamstring injury for a few weeks, came back, then dealt with a rib injury, came back, and then a few weeks later suffered the season ender, a torn patellar tendon. So yeah, the moves made this offseason at the tackle position with Niang injured has been they signed Andrew Wiley to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal, and he was solid for us last year, starting 7 games. And then the Chiefs also signed free agent tackle Jaron Christian, who did start 8 games for the Commanders last season. And Jacob goes on to say in this article that the signing of Jaron Christian and Wiley being the only real moves made for the right tackle position should concern Chiefs fans, as this could show that they are counting on Niang's return next season at some point. And my question here is, what if Niang is never the same after this injury? No offense to Wiley, but do we risk not having another solid option for right tackle with the hope Niang comes back strong? I don't know, but Nick Jacobs feels a bit more optimistic about our O-line, which I am optimistic about our O-line overall, just a bit concerned about the right tackle position in particular. Anyway, he says the Chiefs' offensive line should be in good position depth-wise with Nick Allegretti, Roderick Johnson, Darrell Williams, and Jaron Christian. Then hopefully Prince Tega Wanogo shows strides in camp, and I'm counting Andrew Wiley as a starter. He also shares how he potentially sees the O-line depth-wise. What are your thoughts on what you see here? Do you agree with this? Obviously, the line is somewhat fluid depending on injuries, overall health throughout the season, etc. But are you good with Wiley, then Jaron Christian, then Roderick Johnson as the depth right now at right tackle? That's keeping Niang completely out of the equation, which he'll more than likely return next season. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Part of me would like to see them get another right tackle in the draft, but I know we have a lot of needs, especially on the defensive side of the ball, that we need to address. So it's a tough call indeed. Another couple quick things you guys need to check out, which I will leave links to the full videos in the description down below. But yesterday, Tyrann Mathieu spoke to the LSU football team, and it was a very inspirational piece to hear. I really enjoyed listening to his story. He talked about his past, learning from his mistakes, and him growing into the person he is today. He tells them not to worry about social media followers and doing things for clout, but to put in the work every single day to grow into the man that they are called to be. And lastly, yesterday the Chiefs dropped a quick 1-minute thank you / tribute video to Tyreek Hill. And I'm not gonna lie, it was rather emotional to watch, but very well done. So definitely make sure to check that out if you have not already. In other NFL news, Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay recently spoke out about Carson Wentz at the NFL's annual league meeting in Florida. Apparently, he was irate after the season ended with his team missing the playoffs. Those bitter feelings still linger, and it's clear from Irsay's comments a change from quarterback Carson Wentz had to be made. He talked at length about the reasons behind trading the QB after just one season. Quote, "I think the worst thing you can do is have a mistake and try to keep living with it going forward." He then said, for us, it was something we had to move away from as a franchise. It was very obvious. He then called the Jaguars the worst team in the league, and after losing to them the way that they did, something needed to be corrected, and he feels like they did just that. Corrected it by trading Wentz and moving on after just one season. He also basically said Wentz wasn't only the wrong man on the field, but lacked the leadership in the locker room that the owner desires off the field. Yikes, this was really rough, man. He basically threw Wentz completely under the bus now that he's gone. What do you guys think of that? Savage. And then new Bears coach Matt Eberflus expects a significant year 2 leap from his dynamic quarterback Justin Fields. Quote, "That's what we're looking for. Better technique, better fundamentals, better decision-making, better timing, everything." He's on board with all of that. He's excited about where he is, and he's been working his tail off. That's what we want. Just that big jump from year 1 to year 2. And then 2-time Super Bowl champion and 3-time Pro Bowler Malcolm Jenkins announced that after 13 seasons in the NFL, he's retiring from the game of football. Congrats on your amazing career, Malcolm Jenkins. And then the Jaguars signed defensive lineman Arden Key to a 1-year deal worth up to $7 million. It's worth noting because Key did visit with the Chiefs on March 25th, but hey, no dice there. And then Lamar Jackson had a PSA yesterday. He tweeted out, "I love my Ravens. I don't know who is putting that false narrative out that I'm having thoughts about leaving. Stop trying to read my mind." This was a day after the Ravens GM Scott Bisciotti discussed the state of negotiations regarding the QB's contract. He said it's a unique situation because most players want their money NOW now, but Lamar is content on waiting. He said the kid is so obsessed with winning a Super Bowl that I think deep down he doesn't think he's worthy. I think he wants to say, "Now I deserve to be on top." People can speculate any way they want. I don't think he is turned on by the money that much, and he knows it's coming one way or the other. Whatever the reason for the lack of a long-term deal, Bisciotti said he doesn't expect a new contract to happen before the season unless Jackson, quote, "has a change of heart." And then it's reported that Baker Mayfield plans to throw on his own while the Browns work on a trade. He's been throwing with wide receiver veterans Cole Beasley, Danny Amendola, and Alex Bachman. It's not expected that he will return to Cleveland for the spring session or anything like that. And then in probably the biggest NFL news yesterday, Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians is retiring from coaching and moving to the Buccaneers front office. Apparently, Tom Brady was notified about this the day after he announced that he was coming back to the Bucs for another NFL season. So he has been in the know about this for a while. Defensive coordinator Todd Bowles was notified Monday that he was selected and recommended to replace Arians. The fourth black head coach in Buccaneers history, Todd Bowles is the man with a plan now. Apparently, word has been out for quite some time that Bruce Arians would want to hand the reins in Tampa to Todd Bowles, and some wondered if he'd do it after the Super Bowl last year. So this has been on the table for a while. The surprise, of course, is the timing. And Arians also released a public statement saying the timing is right. He won a Super Bowl and has accomplished more than he ever dreamed possible in his coaching journey. The team is in a great place, and he wanted to ensure that when he walked away, Todd Bowles would have the best opportunity to succeed. Quote, "So many head coaches come into situations where they are set up to fail, and I didn't want that for Todd." He then said this has nothing to do with his health and that he's the best he's felt in years. And shortly before announcing this to the public, it is said that Arians sent a mass group text to the players on the Bucs and let them know prior he wanted them to hear from him beforehand. He thanked them for their hard work and dedication, saying it's been a heck of a ride, and told them not to worry because this isn't goodbye. He'll still be around the offices and available to, quote, "cuss you out when you screw things up on the practice field." Tom Brady also posted a public thank you to Arians after this happened, calling him an incredible man and coach and saying it was a privilege to play for him. He said that Arians was a huge part of his decision to join the Bucs, and he's forever grateful. And Arians actually commented on Brady's post saying, "Thanks, brother," with a whiskey glass emoji. So yeah, this is certainly interesting. I wonder why he didn't announce his retirement earlier, maybe after they lost the playoff game. So part of me thinks he was still planning on coaching another year, but somehow, some reason, some way, he had a change of heart and a change of mind. I'm not sure we'll ever really know the reason why. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Arians retiring, Todd Bowles taking the helm, Brady remaining. It's a wild time. Let me know in the comments down below. The NFL is crazy. This offseason has been bonkers, but be assured I will continue keeping you all in the know every step of the way. And that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure to sub for more daily news like this and check out this video here from yesterday's news in case you missed it. So until next time, let's go. How about those